Awesome. Thank you so much. I did that because I can. My people, all right. Good. No, I did that because the guitar is the best way that I have to illustrate something I am passionate about, and it's why I'm here. I believe that we are each capable of far more than we ever knew was possible. I believe that we are each a gold mine of unrealized potential. And I think that we are surrounded every moment of the day by opportunities to access that potential. Opportunities that by and large we miss. Opportunities to step beyond what's been done before. To look at old things in a new way. Not change for the sake of change, but change for the sake of improvement. For me to try to play the guitar a little differently than it's been played for the last 500 years. So, would you basically agree with that? So the question becomes, how do we access that potential? And you've got to wonder, okay, what in the world are we going to learn about emergency nursing from Kumbaya Boy? And it's a fair question, and if you're looking for specifics, maybe not that much. But it's not about the specifics. The fact is, the commonality of just being human beings is that what it takes for each of us to be able to access that potential is exactly the same, no matter what the industry or the career or the endeavor. So what I want to do with you today is share with you some tools to do that. You have a greater patient load, you have a greater workload, you have greater demands on your time than you've ever had. So when an innovation happens, when something happens to make your life, your job, your career better, it's going to come from you. It's got to come from you because you're on the front lines, you're dealing with it every day. So what I want to do is share with you 3 tools to find those opportunities. I'm going to go through them one at a time. I'm going to illustrate them, which is the fun part. And then I'm going to attempt to prove that they work by doing something I thought was completely impossible to do on one acoustic guitar. Cool? Is that good? All right, good. So let's jump into this. To change anything, the first thing that has to change is our brains, the way we think. There's an inertia to our old way of thinking. It's a self-perpetuating thing. It keeps going in the same direction. And the thinking that got you to where you're sitting right now will not get you any further. The most basic human brain function, cognitive function, is to ask questions. I don't know if you realize that. Thinking is questioning. Our brains, thousands of times a day, are asking and answering questions. Say you're driving, which direction am I going? Is the light turning red or green? Should I turn left or right? Yeah. What did she say? What did she mean by what she said? That's a guy question. So right away, what I'd love for you to do is to start to observe the questions that your brain asks and answers as you experience different things. There's going to be a lot of cool things in the exhibit hall in just a little bit. As you experience those and try things out and look at new products and new ideas, start to pay attention to questions that your brain asks and answers, even as you meet people, because the types of questions that you ask naturally do nothing less than define the quality of your life. If we're asking questions that open up the possibilities, that's the kind of existence we're creating in that very moment. And of course, if we're not, we're not. And I said the questions we ask naturally, I was wrong. It's not natural. It seems natural because we've just been doing it forever. But the questions we've learned to ask about the world, about everything that goes on, that self-talk inside us, was programmed into us from an early age by well-meaning but misguided family members, by experiences we had growing up, environments that we grew up in. And the cool thing is, if they're not natural, you have a choice. We change the question and we can change the results that we get from the exact same situation. So while there are many great questions, I want to share with you my favorite. It's absolutely simple. You've totally heard the question before. I'm going to invite you to revisit it with me. And the question is, what if? What if? When you ask the question, what if, in a positive way, you open up the possibilities, just by definition. What if we could do that? What would it look like? Well, what if we could actually get this result? How would it work? I will bet you all of us have the naysayers in life, the ones who shoot everything down, who are very negative. When there's a new idea, oh, we can't do that. Are we really going to try that? Oh, that's kind of dumb. My favorite, we've never done it that way before. You've got them somewhere in your life, and if you don't have them anywhere else in your life, be careful because it might be you. Not in this room, of course, right? Here's what I like to do with the naysayers, because I'm an artist and I get some pretty crazy ideas, and if you don't believe that, search my name on YouTube. I have some fun performance things I've tried. Here's what I do. People say, well, you can't do that, or that's a crazy idea. Mike, why are you doing it? I go, you're right, it's nuts. But what if it wasn't? How would we do it? Oh, I know we can't, you're right. But what if we did? How would that work? It's cool. It's what I would call conditional surrender. You are surrendering to their point of view, and you're moving on with a solution anyway, which is cool because it opens up for possibilities for you, it improves your life and your whole demeanor, and it pisses them off, and I like that. There are two powers behind the question, what if? Number one, it doesn't mean you're going to do it. Whatever this new idea, this concept, this thought, this result you'd like to create, doesn't mean you're going to do it. Counterintuitively, a lack of commitment at that front end is a huge strength. Why? Because if there's nothing on the line, at that moment, absolutely anything is possible. And that's where we want to start with solutions. What if we could do that? What would it look like? I know it's nuts, but let's set aside the old thinking and say, what if we could? Here's the thing. You can pick up the old thinking again if you want. It's still there. But let's try something and see if it might work. What if we could? That's one strength. The other strength is that because questions define the way we think, when we make this a habit to ask the question, what if, again, in a positive way, you have now reprogrammed your brain to where you are walking through life no longer looking for reasons that you can't. Your default is to look for reasons you can. And you guys get this. In the stress of the moment when things are happening fast, you get that to look for the possibilities. What I'm saying is we need to do that all the time. We need to enhance that. And as we do, everything gets better. I practice this, trust me, this what if question, I practice this in my life daily. I learned this by playing for drunk people. This is just my challenge, just use it as a metaphor. I had this dream of playing guitar, so I started in clubs and bars, and right away I went in expecting great results, enthusiastic, my dream, and right away I got people yelling out stupid requests, like, you know, and I didn't know what to do with that. I don't know the song, I don't like the song, and I started to look bad, because I didn't know how to handle it, right? And we've all seen someone on stage who doesn't do very well, and your skin crawls for them. You wish they would get it. Oh my gosh, is he really doing that? That was me every time I got one of these requests. And then something cool happened. I got fed up. There's a wisdom to becoming fed up. If the status quo and the results that you are getting are not what you want, get fed up. That's when things change. So I knew something had to change. I went in the next night not knowing what it would be, but I was open to it. And I started, and I went a few songs into it. I got one of these dumb requests, something I couldn't do, crazy to ask me to play. And I started into the old pattern, you know. And then I thought, no, something's going to change. And I have no idea why, but it popped into my head. Thank you. I thought, what if I could? And just to myself, not out loud. What if I could? For the first time, I didn't realize until looking back, I turned into the challenge rather than away from it. Not to diffuse it, like people would say, but to use it, to actually incorporate this negative to make it a positive. All right? I didn't think all that at the time, but that's what if I could turned into the challenge. And it didn't mean I went and learned the song. I changed it. I did something new and weird and different, and they laughed at it. But that was a good result. So I went on, and I got it happened again. And I tried it again. And the people who were coming to hear me regularly were, whoa, something's up with Mike. This is kind of new and different. And over time, these requests, the very thing that was holding me back from everything that I wanted, that I dreaded every day, brought out and gave me the best things I love about my life, my career. Made me a comedian, made me a speaker, personal development. Everything that I like about what I do came from something that I thought was holding me back. So as we go through these, I'd love for you to think about right now, just kind of in the back of your head, whatever it is that scares you, that you dread, that you avoid, that cloud in your life, whatever that is for you, okay? We're going to circle back on that in a little bit. But right now, I'd like to try some of these. These are songs that you've probably heard, but not the way I'm going to do them. And I listen to everything, so we're jumping around. I actually got requests for what they call the boy bands. Instinct. What is it? Slack Street. Or what's it? Savage Garden. I want to stand with you on the mountain. Until the sky falls down on me. Yeah, yeah. So what if I could? here's the cool thing. When you ask and answer the question, you're coming up with a solution that is totally yours. It is a product of your abilities and experiences. No one else would have come up with it. I'm going to talk about that in a second, too. Here's how I heard that song. Oh, yeah, boy bands, you have to have choreography. You were the worst, you did it up, you even cheated on me. I wanna throw you off of a mountain. I wanna hold you under the sea. I wanna lay you to rest forever. If you enjoyed that, we're gonna have a blast. In fact, I used that question, what if, to write a Christmas song for my friend Philippe upon hearing the results of his paternity test. Philippe's naughty dad. It's just a joke. But just sing that for 2 weeks, man. It'll get stuck. And you'll remember me at Christmas. Now, if I had to say that there's a common denominator with every organization I present for, it's this. We're trying to manage change, right? And you guys are dealing with it as much or more than anyone. Change in the economy, technology, the way we do business, the people coming in, the technology is a big one. Peter Drucker summed up my philosophy perfectly. He said, managing change is not only stupid, it's dangerous. The only way to manage change is to create change. And now my words, to be the ones who step out and define the curve rather than follow it. And I would argue that, first of all, being on the front lines, being the ones who deal with it day in and day out, 12-hour shifts with no break and all this, you're the ones who have to be the ones to drive change. You're uniquely positioned to where it's not just a good idea, it's mandatory. We need that. And I would also argue that when you ask the question, what if I could do that? What would it look like? Or, I love it when teams will have this. A small team, have a what if meeting. We're not going to talk about past, we're not going to talk about things, we're going to talk about the future. What if? And come up with solutions, come up with new ideas, with new results, right? You're coming up, when you ask this question, you're coming up with a solution that's yours. It is a product of your abilities and experiences or those of your team. When we're then willing and have the courage to act on the solutions, the new ideas we generate, you're now doing something no one else would have done. This is where innovation starts, with you. Now, the first time I dealt with this, I grew up in Virginia, North Carolina. I grew up playing blues and rock more than anything. After college, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and requests changed. Yeah, and when people request country, it's not, could you play some country? It's country, come on! Yeah. And they're packing, you gotta do it, you know? And I didn't know what to do with that. I don't know the song, I don't play the song, and I started looking at what if, and I thought in my head, what if I could? And a wild idea hit me. I just took the songs I do know and played them country. It's a whole new genre. The first time was Tom Petty. Brooks. I got good friends in low places. Always feel Johns and the beer chases my blues away. Which I'm on. You got it? We could do these all day. I won't, but I'll share with you a couple of them. Remember this song? Green acres is the place. Y'all know this. Far good is the place. Okay, good. I just wondered. But I had a nerve. Green acres, get in the trailer, let's go. It ain't home till you take the wheels off. No, back on track. Squirrel! What if? This is Bruce Springsteen. Sings Green Acres. Oh, Springsteen. With your boyfriend, he's upset. He's going off about the homework he doesn't get. He'll never know mathematics like I do. I'm at the library studying for a test. He's been out hitting mailboxes with a bat. He'll never know quantum physics like I do. But he wears muscle shirts, I wear bow ties. He's good looking and I forgot to zip my flight. I'm dreaming all day that you wake up and find what you really want is a superior mind. If you could see that I'm the best of Nintendo, then why can't you see? You need a nerd like me. Walking with you through the halls of the Science Museum, talking all about Pythagorean theorem, looking at my comic books, thinking to myself, I bet she likes Star Trek, and you got a brain that would make Albert Einstein proud. You use words that your boyfriend can't pronounce. The only thing you have in common with him is that you're both way into him, 'cause he plays football, I'm in the chess club, he's team captain, and I collect rare bugs. I've only got brains, he's got the brawn, but in 10 years he'll be mowing my lawn. If you You need a nerd like me. If you could see that I play Dungeons and Dragons, got a scholarship to MIT, he'll get a GED. You gotta go to YouTube and watch that video. That's a good one. I can brag it. I had a director and actors do it. I'm just struggling. It's really fun. Okay, we're having fun with these requests, but I'm gonna tell you the truth. When I got them, they were not funny. They scared me to death. They were holding me back from everything that I wanted. And what we're doing today is simply by asking the question, what if? There's three things I've purposely not pointed out until now. Number one, we're taking a huge problem and we're poking fun at it. We're making fun of it. We are bringing levity to the problem. We are lightening it up. And I mean to do that. And the reason I mean to do that is that's not what we tend to do with problems. You know what we do? We deify them. We take problems, we set them on pedestals and worship them. It drives me crazy. As soon as there's a problem, there's an over-focus right away. It's like this magnet thing. Oh, there's a problem. Have you heard about the problem? Oh, gosh, there's a problem. I've heard a lot about the problem. Oh, there's a meeting about the problem, and a memo about the problem, and a meeting about the memo about the problem, okay? I see you've never experienced that. And I'm not saying to diminish the importance of solving it. To the contrary, it is impossible to make fun of something without standing outside of it. The very act of bringing levity to something, lightening it up, having some fun with it, causes a buffer, a new and better perspective, and I will guarantee you a better solution every time because of that perspective. What if is a great way to do that. I said these are artistic principles in a business context or a life context. If you study stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, improv comedy, the first artistic endeavors, the first thing they teach you is become observational. That perspective will do so much for you. That's number one, just by asking what if. Number two, we're taking a huge problem, and the moment it happens as a problem, we are not looking at it as a problem. We are intentionally looking at it as an opportunity. These requests that I hated, that were holding me back, I thought, were actually there to take me to everything that I wanted. It just didn't look that way in the beginning. So let me ask you this. What if, whatever it was you were thinking of when I said that thing that you dread, that you fear, that you avoid, that cloud in your life, what if there's something good about it? I know there's not, but what if there was? Or what if there's an opportunity in it? Or maybe it's a personal challenge. What if by overcoming it, it gave you an ability that made you unstoppable? And let's be honest, most speakers will say this, problem equals opportunity, right? There's little magnets on the refrigerator. There's no such thing as a problem without a gift for you, and it's all there. It's beautiful. And that's great. It's a nice thought, but I'm a pragmatist, so okay, that's great. How? How does problem turn into opportunity? It's you, and it's me. When we change, the problem doesn't always change, it might or might not. But the moment you ask the question, what if, you come up with a solution, you start channeling that into something that's turning the problem into an opportunity. Doesn't matter what the problem does, because you're now in control. What if is a great way to find the opportunity in the problem. And number three, we're opening up our creativity. And I still get people sometimes who say, you know, I heard what you said about everybody's creative. I'm not really worried about it. It's just not my thing. And this is politically incorrect, but I'll say it anyway. Most of them work with numbers. I'm just saying. It's patently false. Not only, I'm going to get on my soapbox for a second. Not only is it false, not only are we all creative, we're all unbelievably creative. We are creative beyond our wildest imagination. We're just creative in different ways. And it's my suspicion that for a lot of us, our way of being creative stuck out as a little weird or different. So we squelched it. We had to put it in this little box. And what I'm saying is, it's now not just a good idea. We need that. The world needs that. Your patients, your clients, everyone needs this. Your colleagues need this. You need it. What if is a great way to tap into that. So that is my first point I wanted to share. I want you, as you go through this conference, as you look at new possibilities, as you just go through your day-to-day, and you think, oh, we can't do that. Just, well, what if we could? How would it work? Use the question, what if? That's number one. Number two, I want you to write music that you can't play. Write music that you can't play. Or let's say the same thing in non-musical terms. Set goals that don't exist. Let me define that for you. A goal that exists. If you set a goal for a 10% increase, however you would measure that over a year, it's a nice goal, but to me it exists. Because the moment you set that goal, I bet you can see, even if you can't do it yet, you can see how to get to a 10% increase. You can work harder, work longer, get help, be more productive. There's ways we can see to get whatever that next step is, 5 or 10% increase. And that's good. Most of our goals are kind of stepwise, right? But I'm about trying to affect exponential change simply because I've seen it happen too often not to. So, whatever time frame you set goals, just try this for me to see if it doesn't work. Set one goal where when you come up with the goal, you or your team or your entire group, don't start with what's possible.